There is a building in the American Southwest that is older than the United States itself. Not a museum, not a ruin preserved behind glass. A structure where people have lived, generation after generation, for hundreds of years. It was built with mud. 2 hours away, a $1 million mansion built a decade ago is already rotting from the inside. The roof leaks, the walls sweat, and the corners are black with mold. $1 million, 10 years, and it is falling apart. $500, hundreds of years, and the Adobe building is still standing. That is not luck. That is not geography. That is a direct indictment of the modern construction industry. And today, we are going to take it apart, piece by piece. But before we get there, you need to know what we find near the end of this video, because it is not just about a building material. It is about a business model built on your house, deteriorating on schedule. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Let's start with what Adobe actually is. Clay soil, sand, water, and straw. Sometimes animal fiber, sometimes plant material. You mix it, mold it into blocks, and dry it in the sun. No kiln, no factory, no industrial process of any kind. Humanity has been doing this for 10,000 years, from Mesopotamia and Egypt to Persia and the indigenous communities of the American Southwest. Every civilization that built to last used compressed earth in some form. And then the modern world decided to throw it away. Why? That is the question no one in the construction industry wants to answer honestly. Let's run the numbers. A standard Adobe block weighs around 26 pounds and costs between 50 cents and $1 to make yourself with local soil. Even buying them pre-made, you rarely exceed $2 per unit. To build a small home of around 500 square feet, you need approximately 2,000 blocks, which puts your raw material cost somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000. The labor is intensive, but it requires no deep technical specialization. Entire communities throughout history built with Adobe without certified architects, without structural engineers, and without 180-page building codes. A properly built Adobe home with correct foundations and a roof that keeps direct rain off the walls lasts between 300 and 1,000 years. That is not a metaphor. That is documented historical record. Now compare that to the American standard. The average American home is built with treated lumber, gypsum board, fiberglass insulation, vinyl siding, and a coat of paint that promises 20 years and holds up for 8. It costs, on average as of 2024, $340,000 to build. And according to the National Association of Home Builders, its estimated structural lifespan is between 40 and 100 years if actively maintained. 40 years if you keep pouring money into it. Adobe does not ask for active maintenance. Adobe just asks you not to abandon it. Here is where the first real problem emerges. The industry does not want you to build once and walk away because the industry needs you to keep spending. Let's talk about what is actually happening inside a modern wall. You take 2x4 lumber, you sandwich it between 2 sheets of gypsum board, stuff some insulation inside, cover the exterior with vinyl or synthetic stucco, and you call that a wall. But that wall has structural problems from day one, because wood moves. It expands with heat, contracts with cold, and shifts with moisture. And every time it shifts, it creates microfractures at the joints. Those microfractures let water vapor in, and that vapor gets trapped between the gypsum board and the vinyl exterior, where it sits in the dark, in the warmth, doing exactly what moisture does in dark, warm places. There are documented cases in Florida, Texas, and North Carolina where homes less than 7 years old had colonies of black mold growing inside the walls that the owners could not even see. The air in their homes was toxic, and the builders, legally, carried zero liability. But that is nothing compared to what came out during 2008, when the collapse of the housing market exposed what inspectors knew but never said out loud: that thousands of homes built during the 1990s construction boom had walls that were structurally compromised before they were ever sold. And here is where the fraud becomes genuinely brilliant. The construction industry did not collapse with that crisis. It reinvented itself. It took the exact same cheap materials and the exact same fast methods and repackaged them with luxury finishes to charge twice the price. Imported granite installed over gypsum board, hardwood floors laid over poorly cured concrete, triple pane windows set into PVC frames that warp within 15 years, and brick facades that are just decorative cladding with no structural function whatsoever. The inside of a $1 million home is literally the same inside as a $300,000 home, just with a more expensive kitchen and a landscaper out front. The shell is identical, the lifespan is identical, and the deterioration will be identical. Nobody tells you that when you sign. Back to Adobe, because there is something most people never hear about. Adobe is not just a material. It is a complete thermal system. A 12-inch thick Adobe wall has what engineers call high thermal mass, meaning it absorbs heat during the day and releases it slowly at night. In desert climates, where temperatures can swing 40 degrees between noon and midnight, an Adobe home maintains a near constant interior temperature without heating or air conditioning. Communities across the American Southwest understood this 1,000 years ago. Modern architects study it in university and then go build wood frame houses anyway. Why? Because air conditioning is a business, heating is a business, and energy is a business. A home that does not need aggressive climate control does not generate customers for those industries. A well-designed Adobe home can reduce energy consumption by between 40 and 60%, compared to standard American construction, which over 20 years translates to somewhere between $30,000 and $60,000 in utility bills you never pay. But no one is going to volunteer that information in a sales office. Let's talk about a family in the high desert of Arizona. They bought a plot of land in the early 1990s. The soil was dry and clay-heavy, with almost no market value, and they built an Adobe home themselves using techniques passed down from local communities and books published in the 1970s. They spent approximately $4,000 on materials, most of which went to the concrete foundation and the roof. That house is now over 30 years old, with no roof replacement, no moisture remediation, no mold, and no structural issues. Their neighbors, in the same period, have replaced roofs, treated moisture problems, repainted exteriors multiple times, and several have had to sell because the accumulated maintenance costs simply exceeded what they could handle. That is not a lucky story. That is a physics story. Now, there is one argument the industry uses constantly to dismiss Adobe, and it goes like this: it does not meet modern building codes. That is partially true and completely manipulated. Building codes in the United States were written, in large part, with active participation from materials industries: lumber, concrete, steel, and glass, whose lobbying arms have had decades of presence in state and federal regulatory bodies. This is not a dark conspiracy. It is transparent, it is documented, and the lobbying disclosures are public record. The result is that building with Adobe in many states requires certified structural engineering, laboratory testing, and approvals that cost so much they eliminate the economic advantage of the material entirely. In California, for example, seismic requirements for unreinforced earthen construction are so strict that residential Adobe is practically unviable without a specific and expensive architectural approach. Is Adobe dangerous in earthquakes without proper design? Yes, it can be. But the solution is not to ban it. The solution is to design it correctly. And that absolutely can be done. There are documented techniques using Adobe reinforced with bamboo, timber, and steel rebar that have survived magnitude 7 earthquakes across Latin America and Southern Europe. The codes, however, do not evolve toward those solutions. They evolve toward more concrete, more steel, and more industrial materials, because industrial materials have lobbyists and mud does not. And this is not abstract theory, because real people pay the real consequences. In the 2010s, a federal affordable housing program in the American Southwest rejected structural Adobe proposals in favor of conventional wood frame and gypsum construction, citing build speed and standardization. 10 years later, multiple projects in that program had required major structural interventions for moisture infiltration and facade deterioration. And in some cases, the cumulative maintenance costs exceeded the original construction budget. Meanwhile, in Mali, Morocco, and Yemen, there are earthen buildings 4 and 5 stories tall that have been continuously inhabited for between 2 and 5 centuries. The world knows. It just is not profitable to act like it. But that is nothing compared to what is happening right now in the American construction market, where a growing movement of independent builders using cement-stabilized Adobe is directly challenging municipal inspectors to find structural deficiencies in their buildings, and the inspectors keep coming up empty. Stabilized Adobe is where things get genuinely interesting for the modern context. It is traditional Adobe with between 5 and 10% Portland cement added to the mix, which increases compressive strength and water resistance without sacrificing the thermal properties that make the material so valuable in the first place. It costs more than pure Adobe, but remains a fraction of conventional construction costs. And builders in Texas, Arizona, and parts of Colorado are using it to construct homes that pass structural inspection, meet basic seismic codes, and cost between 30 and 50% less than an equivalent wood and gypsum build. The quality of life inside is also measurably different, quieter, more thermally stable, and with cleaner air, because there are no synthetic materials slowly off-gassing into the living space. Modern gypsum panels, adhesives, paints, and insulation all release volatile organic compounds at low levels considered safe, but in tightly sealed homes, those levels accumulate over time. Adobe off-gasses nothing. It is dirt, and it has been dirt for 10,000 years. So why are we not all building with Adobe? Because the system was not designed for you to build cheaply and permanently. It was designed for you to pay 30 years of mortgage on a home that will need a roof replacement at year 20, a kitchen remodel at year 15, window replacement at year 25, and moisture remediation at some point no one can predict. But that will absolutely come. Every one of those events is a new contract, a new loan, a new insurance claim, and a new invoice. Your home is not an appreciating asset. Your home is a subscription product disguised as property, and the industry built that model on the programmed obsolescence of its materials. Adobe breaks that model completely. A properly built Adobe home does not generate that chain of maintenance contracts, does not need a new roof every 20 years, and does not force you to keep spending. That is why builders hate it, not because it performs worse, but because it performs too well. There is one more thing nobody says out loud. The carbon footprint of Adobe is nearly zero compared to conventional construction, while cement alone represents between 5 and 8% of global carbon dioxide emissions, with structural steel and industrially processed lumber adding their own significant shares. Adobe is made with local soil, local water, and local labor, with no mass material transport, no industrial kilns, and no complex chemical processes. If the United States were serious about reducing construction emissions, Adobe and its variants would be central to the conversation. They are not, and the reason is economic, not technical. The next time you see a $1 million mansion, think about what you cannot see. The gypsum walls that crack under a firm punch. The roof with a 20-year warranty and a 15-year real lifespan. The mold that is not visible yet, but is already finding its way between the vinyl and the fiberglass. Then think about a wall 18 inches thick, made of straw and clay, that has been holding against the desert sun, the freezing nights, and the passage of centuries for longer than this country has existed. $500 against $1 million. Hundreds of years against 40 years. The industry did not lose that argument. They just made sure it was never held in public, until now.